Okay. Well, I'm excited. Y'all get to meet my friend Lisa tonight. So she is a Sapphire ambassador, and I love this lady. So
Oh.
Lisa, I don't know if you even know this. So she and I got connected on the Jewel page. And anytime somebody goes in there and asks a question, needs advice, like her name is the first name that I always see pop up in there ready to help. And she's actually helped me a lot. Anytime, like even in the comments, like you're just so active in there and ready to just say, hey, go here, go look here. Yeah, we do this. So I love that. And I just love when people are willing to be team players and help encourage others. And I know you're a mom and you're a wife and you live the crazy life that we all live and still fit your business in and still grow a team. And so I'm looking forward to hearing more about your story and getting to know you a little bit better on here, and hearing some tips that maybe kind of helped you do all the things that all of us are also trying to do. So feel free to take it away.
Well, thank you for having me. I always feel honored when another side sister reaches out and asks me to jump on their calls, and I appreciate it. I actually, again, my name is Lisa. I am in New Jersey, so I am Eastern, and I'm really good with the times zone, so that wasn't a problem. But I joined in February 2013, so I just celebrated my 9-year anniversary. I joined for the business. So I'm a unicorn. I don't know if there's anybody on this call who joined for the business. I hadn't even tried the products. I was actually with another company for 2 years. And that was not my first company. I've done a lot of companies. I've had a lot of jobs, and it wasn't until a month ago that I was officially diagnosed with ADHD at the age of 55, almost 56. So now my life makes sense as to why I am not good at a traditional job and why I've had so many from the age of 18 until 49. Actually, I don't even know what age I was. I'm not good at doing my math backwards. So again, I've been with Plexus 9 years. I'll be 56. So whoever wants to do the math, 47, 48, whatever it was. And then even home businesses. From 2005 until I joined Plexus in 2013, I counted up, I've had 17 home businesses. And so it is amazing when I look back and see how many things I've done, trying to find the right fit. And when I found Plexus, my friend Crystal had posted about Candida. And I've always had issues, health issues since I was 30. Major health issues, major gut health issues, in and out of hospital, multiple medications, but I had been off of them before I found Plexus because in my journey of my health, I started living a healthier lifestyle, went gluten-free, soy-free, started taking supplements, and was able to get off of everything before I ever found Plexus. But I knew that there was a gut health connection with my health. So that's actually what got my attention with Plexus, but I was looking for a home business, a new home business that had the same values as I had. My last business was successful. I made, enough to help with bills, but not a full-time income. And we were drowning in debt. I had worked full-time as a nanny, and I had that home business. My husband worked full time. He does art. So between the two of us, we each had 2 sources of income. Plus I was still getting child support on my now 30-year-old daughter. And we could not make ends meet with 5 sources of income. We were drowning. We were robbing Peter to pay Paul. I had gone to credit counseling, was told there was nothing they could help us with. They advised that I see a bankruptcy attorney. I had the appointment with the bankruptcy attorney. They said there was nothing that could be done but bankruptcy. And I just refused to do a bankruptcy. So I kept searching. I knew there was a way. And that's when Crystal posted about Candida, caught my attention. And it's funny because I asked her to put me in touch with her upline because I knew Crystal wouldn't know the answers that I needed. And because I had been with so many different home businesses, I knew what I was looking for. So I asked for a 3-way call, which is the funniest story because I hate 3-way calls. Like I want nothing to do with 3-way calls. I'll do the 3-way chats, but up until Plexus, I never wanted 3-way calls. Like that was the one thing that I put my foot down. Like every business you're in, they're like, oh, get somebody on the 3-way call, like let them edify and everything. And I never wanted that. But in this case, I asked for one. So her upline, Stephanie, could not answer any of my questions either because she was fairly new. And I was asking all the questions, the comp plan, the products, where were they sourced? And all the things that if anybody knows the color charts, anything that a green would ask, I was asking them. So she kept saying to me, should I know this? Should I know this? And I'm like, well, no, that's okay. If you don't know it, I like you. I like what I'm seeing. I like that when I joined, Plexus wasn't all like smoking mirrors and all the, glitz and glamour and, the fancy websites. I like that it was regular moms in this business because I had been with a lot of the different companies that had all the flashy things and the people that would jump from company to company and they just went after network marketers. And what I loved about Plexus, it was real people, real moms, real dads. And even my friends that were big time into network marketing and I had showed them Plexus comp plan, they're like, well, I don't get it. And I'm like, because it's easy. Like, because when it's so easy, they think that there's something missing that they're not catching because most comp plans, they'll tell you just cash the checks. You don't need to know, like it doesn't matter what the comp plan is, you'll figure it out eventually. And this was so easy that you almost was like, well, that can't be, there's got to be a catch here, like something. And I kept looking. I was looking for the first couple of months and I'm like, are you sure we get paid on this? Are you sure we get paid on that? And sure enough, we get paid, really well for what we do. And my business just exploded. The first 3 months, I did not share publicly on my wall. I was doing it behind the scenes because I wasn't ready to leave the other company because I was making, $2,000. And $2,000 when you are struggling and told to have a bankruptcy, you're not going to just walk away from $2,000. So I wanted to make sure that the company was the right fit. And within 3 months of sharing privately, I had made more than I did in my prior company after 2 years of sharing publicly over there. And I was sharing privately over here, that I made the jump. And the minute I went public on my wall, my business just exploded. And I went Emerald. I joined in February of 2013, went Emerald in November of 2013, and went Sapphire my February of 2014. So like my 1 year anniversary month is when I went Sapphire, and everything was great. I was going into June 2014 convention and I was Miss Diamond by 100 points. And yeah, I thought when I went into June convention 2014, that was when you could still count up your points and you could really figure out. That was like 2 or 3, I guess 2. That would have been 3 back offices ago. And you could really count up and you could see where everything was coming. And you used to have the white lines and the stuff. So you could really see who was on, and it was like color coded. And I went into that convention. Sure, I was going to hit diamond at convention because it was like the end of the month. So the last auto ships ran when we were at convention and I didn't hit. I missed it by 100 points. And then summer hit, and 2 of my girls that were in full momentum decided to take the summer off. And anybody who has taken off a summer anytime when you're in full momentum, there's no coming back. I have not seen anybody come back from that, in my downline at least. And it was just like a spiral downwards. And so here I am 8 years later, and I'm still Sapphire. So I never did hit diamond. I am a unbalanced jewel, which means I have one primary leg. And I don't know, Kendall, like who's on the team, like if you have newbies on here, or if everybody's been around for a while, so they kind of are a little bit of everything. So I lost my train of thought again, ADHD brain.
So we have a mix. And so some may not understand the benefit of like truly building wide, because they
have to build wide. Yeah.
So yeah, if you want to speak a little, I think that's really important to understand, that having balance, going wide. Yeah.
So a primary leg. So each leg is each person that you sign. So if you are new and you're not sure what legs are, say I signed Sally, Mary, and Jane. Each one of those is a leg. And the primary leg in your business is the leg that has the most volume, the most people in that leg. Your outside legs are the other legs outside of that one leg that has the most people, most volume in it. So I have one leg that is extremely heavy, primary leg, and then I have outside legs that are basically hobbyists. I do not have anybody actively working the business right now in my outside legs. So I pretty much have been stalled at my rank, which it's not a bad place to be stalled by any means, you know. And I used to joke that, and I shouldn't say joke, would make it a point that it did not matter how long it took you to get to diamond, which diamond, for those of you who aren't familiar, diamond is the very highest level in our comp plan. And I used to say, if it took me 10 years to get diamond, or it takes anybody 10 years to get to diamond, it is so worth it, because my husband could have worked until he retired, and I could have worked till I retired, and we would never, ever make what a diamond makes. So to me, if it takes me 10 years or even 20 years to get to diamond, it's still more than we were going to make in our old jobs until we were in our 60s or whatever the retirement ages. We were never going to make what a diamond makes. So to me, putting in the time it takes to get to diamond is so worth it. And so I don't know if I had put it out in the universe, because again, I just celebrated my 9-year anniversary, have not hit diamond yet. So we'll see if I hit diamond before year 10 or at my 10-year anniversary. So, so I will be able to prove that it does not matter how long it takes you to get to the top. And there are going to be times, you know, most people might think that it's just like easy to build to the top, or those that have built to the top, built there and stayed there and had no problems. But in network marketing, it's like the stock market or the real estate. It's going to go up and down. You're going to have your valleys, and you're going to have your dips, and you're going to have your really good times, and then it might drop. So if you have money in the stock market, you know it's going up here and down here. And like today, it took a big dive. This morning, I looked at my accounts and there was a big dive. But then tomorrow it could go up. So it's the same thing with your business. And if you ever get to the point where like you're struggling in your business, you want to jump on these team, like your Kendall has weekly team calls, which is amazing. You have your corporate, gives us so much training. So if you're somebody who really wants the business part, there is so many things that you can plug into between your team page, your team calls, the corporate events. There's just so much, and the back office is so much information out there. So I don't know what other things you want me to cover.
Yeah, well, I like a few things. I always like to just take a few notes. So I remember the journey, because there's so much from our own journey that I feel like we forget.
Yeah.
And then we forget to pass that on to people, you know?
Exactly.
And so like for you, a big takeaway was like, we never know where people are in their life. So like you being close to bankruptcy, your friends probably didn't know that, other than maybe a few close ones. And so you never know. And especially now in the way the world is right now with things so incredibly expensive, like we're so scared to lead with the business when it could be the business that they need more than anything else, that they're losing sleep over, that their stomach is hurting at night because of like financial stress. And so, you know, remembering that from our own journeys, right? Like we all came to this for different reasons. And maybe it was the product that was the answered prayer, but we all had that nudge. And like when fear kind of starts bubbling up and taking over in our decisions, like lean into your own journey and think, okay, well, where was I in this situation? And, you know, what was it that helped me get past it? So,
and absolutely, because you know what, and that's the really interesting, because I joined for the business, but I have gotten away from sharing the business part of it. And I got sucked in like so many, where we just lead with the product. And it's like, I didn't join for the products. Like I didn't even try the products. I didn't even care if the products worked. I mean, that's how desperate I was to find a home business. And because I had the business background, I was like, well, I've already spent so much money on all these other companies. So, and it is so cheap to join Plexus that to me, it was like, well, if I don't like the business, you know, at least I have the products. I'll take them for a month, and I'm really not out anything, because my prior business, it was $500 to join. Yeah. And so anybody who's done like the leggings and stuff, and you had the inventory and you had all those things, we don't have that over here. So this was just like a no-brainer to me that I needed gut health products. So I was willing to try them. I needed the business, and I really liked what I was seeing. And so, like you said, not leading with the business right now is, you know, is doing a disservice, because anybody who's filled up their gas lately, hello, you know, like every time I go to fill up now, even now, like I can afford to pay for the gas, but like I can remember, I mean, it wasn't that long ago that this would have killed us. Like there's just no way I could have paid these gas prices when I joined Plexus, or when I filled up my oil tank before summer came, I had to fill up one more time. And like, you know, that would have been so hard for us to fill up and put $1,200 in our, you know, fuel tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's the thing. So many people desperately need something. And I'll tell y'all, no matter how long you do this or how high in the company you get, it's never easy to reach out to somebody about the products. It's never easy to reach out to somebody about the business, right? So for those who like haven't led with the business, or maybe haven't even proactively reached out to people about the products, and, you know, kind of wait for them to come to them, which I did a lot too initially. Yeah. It's never easy, right? But it's those who lean into that anyway and say, I'm willing to do it because this could be the answered prayer for them, or I'm willing to do it because this could be the answered prayer for my family financially. Like there's so much to this, and it's leaning into that. And that's one thing you said also about the journey being up and down. Like the biggest difference between those that succeed and those that don't is, I feel like, grit, stability, being willing to push through the downs, right? Because you can't have an up again unless you get to a down, right? And Rena told me something once that they said to her at the last Joel training she went to, and I think I've shared this before, but it stuck with me. And Rena, I'm probably going to totally butcher this, but they said, you know, the peaks are fun and they're great, and your business is growing and you're excited, but the air's thin up there at the top of the mountain, right? It's thin up there. You can't live up there forever. You have to go back down to the valley where the seeds are planted and things are lush and growing, right? And then doing that, you're creating your harvest to help you get back to the peak, but you can't stay there again. So like, we're not always going to be at the top of the roller coaster, the top of the mountain, but it's what we do when we're in the valley, our grit, our stickability, planting those seeds, watering the garden. Not, you know, always like, and I love that you're like, I did 17 companies, because we always think grass is greener somewhere else.
Yeah.
grass is greener. And it's you looking and saying, I got to dig in here. I got to grow my roots.
Yeah.
And that is a question I had. So from your journey, like you obviously grew fast initially.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you've taken from that, from what you did initially, that you've now passed down as advice to your team? Like for somebody new starting this, I remember I started reaching out right away to friends. And just, I don't know if you've heard of this, but it seems to be helping people with a lot of things. Are you open to looking at it? Like that's what
Absolutely, because I went silver before I even got my products.
Mhm.
And even though I wasn't sharing publicly, I told, my girlfriends and said, I really think this is exciting. And so sharing right away, like I know so many people want to wait and see their results, but some of us have really bad gut health. And even though I was on a journey before I joined Plexus, I didn't realize, like I had been addressing it, but I still had so many underlying issues that it was months before I actually had a really good testimony, because like right away I could tell, like on my 3-day, like within 3 days, I knew I was detoxing. So I was like, okay, we're on to something here. I'm detoxing. This is good. This is really, really good. But I detoxed for a good 4 months. I mean, that's how bad I had a yeast overgrowth. And I was willing, you have to be willing, if somebody's on it for the products, you have to really talk to people about the fact that, like, if they have health issues, like years of health issues, it could be months before they really see something and realize that the products are working. I did know I was detoxing. I was sleeping incredibly. Soda, that was the first thing that I got rid of. I was a huge Diet Coke drinker for decades. Like every single day I had my Diet Coke, and I'm not talking a little bit of Diet Coke. I'm talking 2 liters of Diet Coke a day. Like it was bad. And within, I would say even a week, I stopped wanting soda. I stopped eating the king size candy bars at I'd go to the drugstore and I would have them gone before I ever left the parking lot. Like I had a huge sugar addiction. My coffee that I drank for years was 3 tablespoons of creamer, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and I had multiple cups of coffee a day. So when I say sugar addiction, so I had a major detox that had to happen with that amount of sugar addiction that was going on in my body. And even though I didn't join for the products, I obviously needed the products. So now I drink my coffee. I've had maybe a handful of sodas, and it's so funny. Like every so often I'll be like, oh, I want a soda, and I'll buy one. I take a sip and then I throw it in the trash because it's disgusting. But my body's like, oh, I wanted a cold soda. And we call it soda in the East. I don't know what you all call it.
We say soda in Texas.
Okay. Some people pop, cola, whatever you all call it. But every so often, like if I'm extra tired or hot or something, and I'll be like, oh, I want a soda, and I'll grab it. And like I said, I'll take a sip and it goes in the garbage because it's just nasty. I drink my coffee black now. Never, ever would I have thought I would drink black coffee.
It's the best way to have it.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Yeah.
I know y'all are like, ugh, but no.
Yeah, no, that's how I was. I'm like, ooh, because I mean, again, I was doing three sugars and 3 creamers. So like there was probably no coffee in it.
Well, I love though what you brought up though about how, like, I feel like one of the biggest objections to convincing people to share initially is they don't feel like they have their journey, right? Or their own testimony. And I also went silver before I even got my products. It was just connecting with my mom and my sister saying, hey, I'm doing this. Y'all should do it too. Like it was that easy. We overthink it sometimes. But one thing that I think really helped me initially when I grew fast, because I mean, many of y'all know my journey. I added 38 people my first month, split between ambassadors and customers, but I went all in. Like when I realized there was a financial opportunity with this and I desperately needed the products, I went all in. We were about to foreclose on our house.
Yeah.
I was desperate for the income, and so many people are there. I did not come for the business. I came because I just got out of the hospital from all my stomach issues, and I was like, enough's enough. I came for the products. But literally overnight, I was inspired by the business. But like you said, so many people, they're like, well, I don't have my story, right? I don't know how to share this. I don't have my story. I'm going to wait. When really, if you can get comfortable saying to them, well, that's okay that you don't have your own story. You're welcome to share mine.
Mm-hmm.
I have a story. You're welcome to share it. And one of the things my cousin told me early on is she said, I want you to just go spend time reading the testimonies. Mm-hmm. She's like, just go read the testimonies. And so before my products even got there, I spent 4 hours on a testimony page reading through them, because it's not so much that our new people don't have their own testimony, it's that they don't have belief yet.
Right.
Everything comes from belief. And so that is a new thing. Well, not a new thing. I've been doing it since I started it, but that is something I focus on with new people, especially those that I am having this conversation of sharing. And I encourage y'all to do it too. But just say, hey, we have a testimony page. I want you to learn more about these products that you're about to start taking. That way you also know different things that they help with. Maybe you do have people in your life that could benefit. I'm going to add you to this page. Please just spend some time reading through it. And I'd love to talk about it afterward. And encourage them to read it, because they will not be able to help but have their belief built. I mean, we all know it's the testimonies that sucked us.
Oh my gosh, yes.
For the products.
And then if you need like the business financial side, watch the diamond documents and the Because of Plexus on the YouTube channel, on the Plexus Corporate YouTube channel. I think they're called Because of Plexus.
Because of Plexus.
I think that's what they're called. Yeah. So they have the financial and they have the health journeys, and they're compliant that corporate has done, and they're little mini videos, but they are so good to watch those. I love watching those in the diamond documents.
Yeah. And I feel like the root issue behind struggling to have people duplicate is us failing to build belief. Yeah. And so spending time sitting down thinking, what are ways that I can intentionally build belief in my people, even if they never work the business, right? If you want them to stay on their products,
absolutely.
Build their belief in what it is they're taking. Send them videos even after they start. Send them testimonies even after they start. Like, we think about that stuff before they start to encourage them to be excited enough to order from us. And then we stop building their belief.
And follow up with them, because if they're struggling, you need to know that they're struggling, because they might not necessarily tell you they're struggling. So make sure that you're checking in on them when they start the products, and troubleshooting if they're not seeing results, or pinpoint, maybe there's products I can't take that my body just does not like, and that's okay, because not every single product is going to be for every single person.
And that's even like what you were saying, we're all coming in from a different place. So if somebody's like, I want my own testimony, typically they mean, I want the number on the scale to move. Right. That's really what us women mean when we say that.
That is what, and you know what? I did not have that. It's the funniest story, because I was at, I had lost weight with my prior company. It was a weight loss company. And I had lost. So when I came in, I wasn't looking for weight loss, but I was looking for a company to help maintain the weight that I had lost. Because the other company, I had to drink 2 shakes a day, 2 meal replacements. And I did that for 2 years. Well, most people aren't going to drink meal replacement shakes for years. And that just wasn't sustainable. So the minute you stop drinking 2 shakes a day, your weight's going to start going up. And so I was looking for something that was going to help me maintain where I was at and not gain more. So I wasn't looking to lose weight when I joined. And when I joined back in 2013, we really led heavily with weight loss. Like, that was what you built with. You didn't build on gut health, you built on weight loss.
There was no triplex yet.
No, there wasn't. Well, it wasn't called the triplex.
Yeah, we had them all separate. They weren't bundled.
Yeah. So, we had the slim, we had the accelerator. So everybody was like, we're building. Well, I never lost on those products. So like, everybody's like, oh, well, I have like this amazing, and I never did. You know which products I did lose on was when we introduced the Mega X. I lost 12 pounds from convention to which is like the June, usually to September, I lost 12 pounds when I added the omegas. My body needed omegas. And that was like 4 years into my journey before I lost any weight on any of the Plexus products. But the minute I added those, I lost 12 pounds. Then when we got the Slim XOS, I lost 12 pounds with that too. So those were the two things that my body needed for me to lose weight. But then there's other products, that, Balance or Metaburn or whatever, where, Sally Joe could lose weight on that, but then Mary Sue doesn't. So you just don't know. And you have to just be willing to try different products until you find the right combination, or what time of day you're going to take them, or how much. Sometimes you might need to take a little bit more or a little bit less than what's on the bottom, like for the directions.
Yeah. Which is also why it's important. Check on your people, because no news is not good news.
No.
We think no news is good news. It is not. It's the opposite.
No. And don't be afraid to reach out to them thinking that, and I know I was guilty of this, and I'm sure so many people are guilty. You're like, well, if I reach out to them, that'll remind them to turn off. Because you're thinking, like, if I contact them, then they're going to be like, oh, I meant to cancel my subscription and stuff. And that's not.
You'll save more than you lose if you're checking.
Exactly. So check on them. Like, don't be afraid that you're going to give them a reminder of their product is getting ready to on. And that was the thing too, that a lot of people were like, well, I don't want to have a subscription. So my big thing was like, well, I'll remind you, too. So that way, if you aren't happy with it, I'll give you enough notice so that you can stop. So that's another customer service thing. And usually they didn't stop, because you did follow through with them.
Yeah. Well, and I encourage people put a reminder in their own phone. So I say, you have this, you want this, you get free points towards products. Would you like to see all the free products I've gotten? But put a reminder in your phone, and that way you can adjust. So, well, I know it's 8:30. I promised her we do this 30 minutes. But girl, I thank you for being authentic. I know it's hard sometimes to share, something that's not, I just rocketed to the top and it was all beautiful. And I think sometimes people are fearful to say, no, this actually is hard. This has struggled. But
and it's boring. And that's one thing that corporate, Genevieve at corporate will say, this is a business, and it's not, like you said, all fun and game, and it's not always at the height of the mountain and stuff. And there's going to be days that you're like, I got to work my business again, and you don't want to work your business. But if you want a full-time income, then guess what? You have to work. It's not a hobby. So you don't have to work full-time, but you do need to work, and you need to be consistent.
Yeah. And just to wrap it up, the 10 years to diamond, like, look, y'all, I'm in my 9th year. I'm emerald. I haven't even hit sapphire yet, but this income is life changing. I mean, my husband's been in his career 20 years and I make significantly more than him. It's super fun to make more than your husband, because I'm like, honey, you need to go work a second job, not really. but that's the thing. Like, where else? I homeschool 4 kids. I have no degree. Where else is that a possibility? It truly is just a willingness to get over myself and my fear when it came to connecting with people about the products, get over myself and my fear when it comes to talking about the business, and not quitting when times get hard. And being willing to just learn, plug into training, plug into mindset, grow yourself, because that's the biggest thing that I and any other jewel I think will say out of this is the compensation plan, or what is it? It's a personal development plan with compensation, or personal development with the compensation.
You get paid to learn.
You learn so much about yourself and grow. So, 10 years, 20 years, no matter what, it's worth it.
Absolutely.
It's worth it. Even if I never reach diamond, oh my gosh, I'm really thankful for emeralds.
Same. Like, that's what I said, like sometimes you say, oh, I'm stuck, or it's like, like, what a blessing, And
you know what though? Silver income is what saved.
Absolutely. Silver and gold
is what saved. It's why we didn't lose our home.
Yep. Absolutely.
My first month, just having enough people come alongside me to get my products for free, so I'm out of the hospital, but also be able to help. Just
absolutely
take the weight off.
So just 500. I mean, what can $500 do right now for so many families right now? $500 is a lifeline.
You don't have to have some crazy income to be able to say there's huge, amazing possibility with this. It's life-changing.
Yes.
So, well, thank you, Lisa. We appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Yes, and thank you guys for hopping on here. Just a reminder to everyone, next week's convention. So we will not have a team call next week. We're going to kind of have convention week, plug into all of those things. I know we have many going live, many doing virtual, new stuff coming, super fun. So I will keep y'all updated on all the things that I'm allowed to share. So, but anyway, y'all have a good night.